Story number 9 of Hurlbut's Story of the Bible. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Hurlbut's Story of the Bible by Jesse Lyman Hurlbut, Part 5. The Golden Image and the Fiery Furnace. Daniel 3, 1-30. At one time King Nebuchadnezzar caused a great image to be made and to be covered with gold. This image he set up as an idol to be worshipped on the plain of Dura near the city of Babylon. When it was finished, it stood upon its base or foundation almost 100 feet high, so that upon the plain it could be seen far away. Then the king sent out a command for all the princes and rulers and nobles in the land to come to a great gathering, when the image was to be set apart for worship. The great men of the kingdom came from far and near and stood around the image. Among them, by command of the king, were Daniel's 3 friends, the young Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. For some reason, Daniel himself was not there. He may have been busy with the work of the kingdom in some other place. At one moment in the service before the image, all the trumpets sounded, the drums were beaten, and music was made upon musical instruments of all kinds, as a signal for all the people to kneel down and worship the great golden image. But while the people were kneeling, there were 3 men who stood up and would not bow down. These were the 3 young Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They knelt down before the Lord God only. Many of the nobles had been jealous of these young men because they had been lifted to high places in the rule of the kingdom, and these men, who hated Daniel and his friends, were glad to find that these 3 men had not obeyed the command of King Nebuchadnezzar. The king had said that if anyone did not worship the golden image, he should be thrown into a furnace of fire. These men who hated the Jews came to the king and said, "O king, may you live forever! You gave orders that when the music sounded everyone should bow down and worship the golden image, and that if any man did not worship he should be thrown into a furnace of fire. There are some Jews whom you have made rulers in the land, and they have not done as you commanded. Their names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They do not serve your gods, nor worship the golden image that you have set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with rage and fury at knowing that any one should dare to disobey his words. He sent for these 3 men and said to them, "O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, was it by purpose that you did not fall down and worship the image of gold? The music shall sound once more, and if you then will worship the image, it shall be well. But if you will not, then you shall be thrown into the furnace of fire to die." These 3 young men were not afraid of the king. They said, "O King Nebuchadnezzar, we are ready to answer you at once. The God whom we serve is able to save us from the fiery furnace, and we know that he will save us. But if it is God's will that we should die, even then you may understand, O king, that we will not serve your gods, nor worship the golden image that you have set up." This answer made the king more furious than before. He said to his servants, "Make a fire in the furnace, hotter than ever it has been before, as hot as fire can be made, and throw these 3 men into it." Then the soldiers of the king's army seized the 3 young Jews as they stood in their loose robes with their turbans or hats on their heads. They tied them with ropes and dragged them to the mouth of the furnace and threw them into the fire. The flames rushed from the open door with such fury that they burned even to death the soldiers who were holding these men, and the men themselves fell down bound into the middle of the fiery furnace. King Nebuchadnezzar stood in front of the furnace and looked into the open door. As he looked, he was filled with wonder at what he saw, and he said to the nobles around him, "Did we not throw 3 men bound into the fire? How is it then that I see 4 men loose, walking in the furnace, and the 4th man looks as though he were a son of the gods?" The king came near to the door of the furnace as the fire became lower, and he called out to the 3 men within it, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye who serve the Most High God, come out of the fire and come to me." They came out and stood before the king, in the sight of all the princes and nobles and rulers, and every one could see that they were alive. Their garments had not been scorched, not their hair singed, nor was there even the smell of fire upon them. The king Nebuchadnezzar said before all his rulers, "Blessed be the God of these men, who has sent his angel and saved their lives. I make a law that no man in all my kingdoms shall say a word against their God, for there is no other God who can save in this manner. And if any man speaks a word against their God, the Most High God, that man shall be cut in pieces, and his house shall be torn down." And after this the king lifted up these 3 young men to still higher places in the land of Babylon. End of story number 9. Recording by Sean McGahey, DuctTapeGuy.net.